Hey guys, Buffin Gaming back, bringing another video today for our Blueprint series, and we're going to be covering the Gilded Blueprint for the HKG36 or the MG36, turning this into the G36 Assault Rifle by HK. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I'll show you how you unlock this. I also include some multiplayer gameplay from me using this as it's intended, and I have my preferred setup for this as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So you can see first off there that this is a ZLR special blueprint. So there's the XRKs, the ZLRs, and I believe there's one or two more that they've released so far. So this one is unlocked by everybody. You can get this in the battle pass. So if I jump to my battle pass here, it's unlocked at tier 85. You get the Gilded Blueprint, legendary blueprint for the light machine gun Echo being the HKG36. So again, this is the turning it into the G36. Now, we've done a whole series for the conversions on this particular weapon, starting with the MG36 and how you can turn it into the G36 assault rifle, which we see here, the G36C, which everyone remembers from Modern Warfare, and as well as the G36KA4 you're able to create with this. And now we have the Gilded Blueprint. So let's go ahead. It's here on Battle Pass tier 84. You're able to unlock this. Let's go first to our armory and just show off the different G36 blueprints that we have. So if I go here, go to select the weapon, we'll look at our blueprint. So we have the Gilded Blueprint here, which we just unlocked for tier 85 completion of the Battle Pass. And again, this is turning the HKG26 or the MG36 into the G36 Assault Rifle. Then we have our G36KA4. We have our G36C. Then we have my personal blueprint that I did for the G36 Assault Rifle, as well as the MG36. So let's focus on the Gilded Blueprint today. And you can see starting off the attachments for this. So this is as it comes. You have no muzzle attachment, no barrel, and it comes with a 5mm laser. So the 5mm laser is going to be pros for hipfire accuracy as well to sprint to fire speed. The con being laser visible to enemies at all times. So this is visible at all times unless you're even when you're ADSing, I believe. It doesn't say that, and I've heard some people say that it isn't, so maybe correct if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen on kill cams, it is visible even if you're ADSing, I believe. So this is only for aggression. You can see there at the end of the description, this is really for sprint to fire speed and hip fire, which this weapon really is not built for, but I'll show you how to customize it to make it better suit that playstyle. So with that 5mm laser, then we're skipping out on the optic, no stock. The perk comes with fully loaded, which is going to give you maximum ammo capacity for the weapon. Then we have a simple pistol grip. So what this is going to do is assist with our ADS speed as well as our sprint to fire speed. The only con being that the aiming stability is going to take a bit of a hit. But again, not a very big deal. And with this being still the long barrel as the base MG36, we want as much assist to that aim down sight speed as we can. So we'll go ahead and get out of that. And now we have our ammunition. Obviously, the only conversion here is going from the 100-round CMAG of the 5.56 NATO to the 30-round 5.56 NATO to turn that into the G36 Assault Rifle. The pros here, obviously, since we're going from 100 rounds or minus 70 down to 30-round magazine, our pros are going to be the ADS speed as well as the movement speed. The con being magazine ammo capacity because you're taking in 70 less 5.56 rounds. And then the last attachment here is going to be the Merc foregrip. So again, this is a hip fire foregrip primarily is what it's intended for. So the pros being the recoil control as well as the hip fire accuracy. Cons being aim walking movement speed as well as aim down sight speed. So this is the final blueprint for the Gilded G36 Assault Rifle. Now, first I'll show you how I prefer to run this. If you wanted to run it as intended as a hip fire weapon, get rid of the fully loaded perk and swap it out for the XRK Spitfire to turn it into the G36C, or you can even use the XRK Ultralight for the G36KA4. You can see those differences with those barrels. Doesn't really impact the blueprint itself that much. You don't have the continued camo of the golden pattern on the actual handguard where the rail system is, but other than that, it's not really a big hit versus the base. Versus the base barrel here. So you can see not too much of a huge impact if you were to swap out to put another barrel on. Now, another change that you could make if you wanted to run this, how I was running it in a couple of games, I was running, because this really is not a sprint to fire, a hip fire weapon. I would throw a holographic sight or even the Solo Zero K4 98 4x integral on there And for this purposes, we'll just look at it with the holographic. I would also keep the stipple grip. I would swap out the 5 milliwatt laser for our tack laser. That's going to assist with our ADS speed, aiming stability, aim walking steadiness, and the laser is only visible when you're ADSing. So you can be more careful about when you're exposing your position and only ADS at specific times. So I would throw that on, and then the Merc foregrip I would swap out for a Ranger foregrip as well. So now we have, these are probably the 5 attachments that I would personally recommend if you want to run this as a G36 assault rifle. And you could throw some other different scopes on there too. That's really personal preference. And then if you wanted to skip out on the grip tape, since we have a tack laser, you could throw any of the KA4 or the C barrel on there to assist with your ADS speed as well and movement speed. So how does this change when you swap out camos? We can look really what it does here. You can see it mainly changes the stock and everything but the magazine and the barrel. So you can see here I'm just swapping through, and you still have the base camo present in the background, which is fine. I think it looks still pretty decent. I think that's a cool pattern when you're throwing on something like these woodlands. Overall, I think that kind of makes it look, this one here, it's just some of these in specific, you can make it look very unique just by throwing on specific attachments to the weapon. So something like the stripes, you can see that looks pretty neat overall. And then if we were to throw on a different barrel here, so let's just throw on this for the purposes of looking at what it would look like with camos, and we'll throw on something like a stripes. So now it impacts the whole gun, obviously, because we got rid of the original barrel that the weapon comes with. That would just, now the blueprint camo does not carry over through the handguard and the rail system. So now we are able to completely customize the camouflage of the weapon. So let's back out quick. We'll reselect the Gilded Blueprint. And that is really the only changes. Now, if obviously we looked at the barrel, if we were to swap out the lasers, how does this look? 1 milliwatt is black, and tack laser is also white, similar to the 5 milliwatt laser. Optic we looked at in the stocks. We're gonna go FSS Ranger. It doesn't carry over with the pattern for the blueprint, which I think is fine. It's not that heavily impacted. The black still looks pretty unique with the blueprint itself. Not a big deal there. And the next one is the perk. Obviously, you have your different perk selections here for this. I typically don't run perks on my weapons unless it's Mo money while I'm leveling them up. The stipple pistol grip, how does this change? You lose the ZLR on the base stipple pistol grip. You have to see that ZLR, and you lose that when you swap out the different grips. It changes that whole pistol grip. You can see that the safety and full and E there for the select fire switches looks pretty neat, especially with this. You have a little bit of a gold tint to the select fire switch. And now with the ammo, obviously if we were to deselect this, we're just going to get that black 100 round C-mag. And the Merc foregrip, the white Merc foregrip again is unique to the blueprint. So any other blueprint is going to be standard, any other underbarrel is going to be standard black grip as well. So this is the Gilded Blueprint. The big difference here is that it has the G36, low profile G36C carrying handle that comes with the weapon. So typically on anything else but this blueprint, that carrying handle has that Picatinny rail all the way from the back sight aperture all the way to the front. And here you can see it's a low profile, so I'll show a picture of that on screen, what it looks like. As well as the bipod seems to be moved from the lower part of the handguard to the top. You can see it right there next to the 5 milliwatt laser and on the sides of the Picatinny rails. I'm not sure if that's very realistic, if that's something that H&K did with the G36. I couldn't find any real life examples of this when I was looking into it. I know typically with the G36Es and the MG36s, the bipod is underneath the handguard, and you're able to adjust it and flip it up like you see with something like the... Here, I'll just show you this for example. You can see on the base G36 I have here, the bipod is underneath there, right? So that's typically how it runs. But with this, it's swapped up and is now on top. We still have the 4 Picatinny rails on all 4 sides. We just have that low profile carrying handle for the G36C carrying handle. And we have ZLR there, as well as the special ZLR special on written there right by the left side of the aperture. The ZLR on the muzzle, the unique muzzle brake for the blueprint. just ZLR and some different unique spots there. We still have everything else remains the same with the weapon as far as ambidextrous controls for the mag release, as well as the charging handle and the select fire is all ambidextrous as well. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now you'll see the gameplay in the background. I'm running this in realism mode, trying to use it the best as it's intended. And it is a pretty good game. I think I went 33-11 when all said and done, and I was just about to call on a chopper gunner as the game ended. But this one in particular, this blueprint, overall thoughts, I think it's a very cool design. I think it looks nice with camos. I do like the unique visuals that we get with the cosmetic changes for this weapon. It's very aesthetically pleasing. How does it handle? I think it's definitely difficult to control with the iron sights on this. The apertures are pretty open, but the recoil that you're going to get from this is pretty heavy, and sometimes you'll see maybe in this clip here, I do die as far as not being able to keep shots on target initially because of the muzzle climb and the smoke that you get from the barrel. It's hard to keep shots on target sometimes, so you just need to be cautious of that. That's why I would run it with sights. I did run this in a night map with a thermal hybrid and ended up getting a chopper there pretty easily. I think this is a very good weapon when you have the right sights on this particular build. And obviously keep in mind if you're using it as is that 5 milliwatt laser is always going to be visible. So you'll see in some of the gameplay here, if I'm holding up in a position, patrolling a lane or something, I'm careful as to where I'm pointing my gun since that laser is always visible to enemies. So those are some things to keep in mind. This is more of a run and gun build. And if you really wanted to use it like that, I would personally recommend putting one of the different barrels on there to give you better mobility with this particular weapon. You could even get rid of fully loaded and throw a suppressor on the end, and that would also assist if you're ADSing to help fight the muzzle climb and mainly the visibility impediment that you see when you fire the weapon. It's just a little hard to see with the smoke and the muzzle climb. But other than that, I think it's an overall very good blueprint. I do love the camo. I think it handles really well. I had a pretty good game with this. You'll see some pretty nice pistol kills, and this is why I do love realism, is those one-shot headshots. And again, there's no HUD, so yeah, you typically do not find many campers in the realism mode overall. And I think that's mainly why I love it. This is really all I've played for the past month and a half or more is just realism. There's really, with no HUD in the minimap, there's not nearly any camping that I can usually notice, and people need to rely more on their headsets and just their visual and audio cues to really perform well in this mode. So let me know what you guys think of this blueprint. Let me know what you think of the whole Ruger 26 or the G36 as a whole. Be sure to check out the weapon conversion when we go through all 4 conversions for the MG36 or the G36 assault rifle, the G36K-A4, as well as the G36C. So now we can add the gilded to that with that low profile G36C carrying handle that we get. And I think overall this is a pretty cool blueprint. So let me know what you guys think down below. Also be sure to check out the social media links down below in the description, as well as Twitch. And I'll be adding the Discord link is down there now as well. That Discord did go live this previous Sunday, so go ahead and hop in there. We have a bunch of channels created. Leave recommendations as to what you want to see. Go ahead and post your own builds on there. I'd love to see what you guys have, and we'll definitely be setting up community play events and things like that. So really looking forward to interacting with you guys, and I'll leave you guys with this gameplay. This is the Gilded Blueprint for the G36 assault rifle. This is Buckner Gaming. Out.
Enemy at the launch pad. Get ready, we're about to move. We're getting hammered. Step it up. Hardpoint contested. Okay, get to the hole. Hardpoint secure. Incoming. Take it out of the area. We're taking the lead. Enemy cruise missile incoming. 10 seconds. taken the hard point. Next hard point.
Change your mags.
Taken the hard point.
Reloading.
Hard point contested. Hard point contested. The enemy took the hard point. Missile, go for launch. Hard point contested. Less than a minute. Get ready, we're about to move. We've lost the lead, soldier. Jaguars, missile away. Right on target. Go, get to the next one.
Change your mags.
Ready to deploy.
Enemy at the
Enemy's
trench.
got the hard point.
Grid's marked. Call
Hard
for
point
fire.
contested. Hard point secure.
Striker 3-2 on station. Go for task.
Change your
Hard point
mags.
contested. 30 seconds. Time's up. Move your arms. Hard point contested. It's over. We're RTB. Move out.